MTTI's database. There's, just sort of, it's reskinned, and, you won't see like the logos and the pictures in that because that's all stored locally, but it should be good in terms of showing us what we have for the new software. So I'm going to log in and just show it from a, again, that would be, that all that stuff you have in the middle, Jen, the pictures and the notes and all that. And if I go in to the course rosters from the global perspective, and then what I'm going to do is log out and log in from a faculty perspective, because I think that's mainly what we want to look at today, right? Okay, so you should see that all of the rosters show up here, and that's the main list with, all several hundred rosters. And when you pick the roster program, it will go to the new version. So if I click this, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that goes in there. You'll notice that the academic and skills points are now part of that record. So you see each student, and I'll go through the columns and all the things. There's quite a few different changes to this program in terms of the way it works. So I think what I'll do is I set up a faculty test account, and maybe that will be simpler to show it that way.
Okay, great.
So I'm going to log in as FacTest and go to my faculty schedule, which this is how the instructors would typically get at their rosters and get their schedule. Maybe what I should do is go back and only view active rosters.
Okay.
Get a little bit of a shorter list. So you can see this list of classes, and if I click view roster, that is the basic information, name, course, academic points, skills points. And then the actions column here sort of has replaced all the little buttons that were all over the place on the other roster. So if you want to go to his activity tracking, if you click that, it will open up the activity tracking list. If you click return to course finder, it will bring you back to the list. If you needed to go to the contact info for that student, and then from there, whatever other things that the faculty has access to, like the transcript or the GPA history and so on, they can get to that as well.
Great.
And let's see what else is in the actions. This also contains the ad tracking. So if they need to add an alert or a tracking to a person's record, they can do that. You notice we now have the simple and rich text, but I think you've already got that, correct, Jen?
Right. But here in the ad tracking, that's where the instructor...
Is that already installed? I believe it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay, right. So those functions are within that list. Getting to the students' assignments, and that will get us there. So really, a lot of the other screens look the same, but obviously the actions are getting to the clock hour report for a specific student as well.
Great.
And when you click the return button, you should be back on the roster. So I think it's, while there is some new functionality, especially in terms of the grades and all that, which again, I'll want you to, check and make sure that that's correct. The basic functions are all pretty much what they were. There's just a different way of getting at them. So if I want to get at the gradebook roster for the entire class, I click that link and that will open up the gradebook roster. And so this hasn't changed. It's just really the navigation from the roster itself. If I want to see the instructor or the dates for the class, that used to be in a little bubble up here. Now it's a link. We really wanted to clean it up because the roster had so many pieces of information on it. Getting back to the faculty schedule, going to the reports, and I say clock hour report all. Now you'll notice that dark gray, that is something Adam has already fixed, because I know it's hard to read. That will be actually already is fixed. It's just not in my test environment. And if you click show details, it will actually expand, and it always did.
Right.
So let the color, do that fixed before you get this bill. Okay, so that is the overall clock hour report. Attendance report we don't really use. Texting the class, that used to be a link at the bottom. That is now in the mix up at the top. That was kind of thrown on there at one point. So now everything, you don't see any links at the bottom anymore. Any questions about that before I move on to grading and attendance?
Yes.
I was just wondering, what's the function of the pictures?
That is to show the pictures of the students.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, but you currently have that, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that I should have mentioned that, but yeah, that is, now, one thing that's really nice about this roster is that it actually shows the pictures in the roster itself. Unfortunately, in my version right here, since I don't have access to your pictures, you can't see that. But if I clicked all columns, I think you'd see right in there, you'll have an image of each student next to the name.
Nice.
So you'll actually see it there, or you can go to the bigger rendering and see the large scale pictures. So there is the whole notion of the grade columns, the attendance columns, the all columns, and the column visibility. So for instance, if I go into column visibility and I say I want to just remove the phone number, if I click that and I click the major and I click the major 2, I'm really removing columns from the report. So if I wanted to go back in there and get rid of the minor, I would go into column visibility and I would click that. And now, and let me get rid of class year. Maybe student site is important. So the individual instructor can customize the look and feel according to what they use on a regular basis. And that visibility will stay there until they either go to a different browser or they clear their cache. So that will persist. There is also the ability to export to Excel. So that is already part of the current system as well, but I'll just cover it because it's in a different spot. So I can take that roster and export it. There is a PDF function. I mean, I don't know how useful it is because it kind of just takes a bit of the page, prints it. That might be useful for something. I mean, I think the Excel option is a lot more flexible because you get the whole thing. So this kind of like cuts that off at the pass there. Wants to use it, and then the print function. So there is also the ability to do a select all or a select none. So for example, just these 3 students, like if I put a checkbox there and a checkbox there, let's say I pick those 2 students, then you can, or I guess you have to hold your key here. There we go. So I selected those 2 students, then you go up to reports and you say clock hour selected for those 2 people. So you have a little bit more flexibility in how you select the students and report them as well.
Nice.
Then I'm going to go to the grade and attendance columns. So first, attendance columns. And this interface has been, significantly rewritten, as you'll.
You're cutting out a little bit, Joe.
So attendance for multiple days at a time. I've got, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And really, I think what I need to do here is I need to really go back to his schedule and get his his 999 is attendance, right?
I was just gonna
So
say
let
that.
me bring up. Okay. And then I can switch the week. So I'm going to go back a couple of weeks.
Jill, you keep cutting out. I don't know if you're trying to receive phone calls, but it keeps cutting out at different points.
Oh, the voice is cutting out, Sharon?
Yes,
How about now?
good so far.
Okay. Let me know if that happens again. If it does, I'll hang up and call back in, although we're recording, so I'd rather not do that. But if it cuts out, let me know.
Okay.
So then if I scroll across here, I would see the actual date and the attendance. Again, let me go back. See if I can get to, yeah, there we go. So now we're back to before the break. So we've actually got, Wednesday hours, Wednesday minutes, Wednesday absent, attendance notes, you see late. So you can actually do instead of a single date. And you can see each day, you'll see Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then it wraps back around to Sunday. So that will be, I think something that the faculty will probably like, will take a little getting used to. We no longer have that date, again, where you have to pick the date. Everything is go to this Wednesday hours, and I put in, let's see if I can find one that's not filled in.
Go to the
Let me
next
scroll
week.
ahead to the Christmas break.
Now, Joe, in your clock hour report, if you notice that there was an attendance missing from a date, say a couple weeks earlier, do you just have to use the arrows to get to that date, or can you type in an actual date?
You can use this week thing up here. I think you can type them in, but you can also scroll a week at a time.
Okay.
So, and then you can also click in here and get a calendar and pick a certain date. So if you go back to November 15th, it's going to start with that week.
Great.
So there is a calendar function with it as well. Any questions about that?
How'd you just pull the calendar up, Joe? I missed that.
You just click in this week thing, this field,
Right on it.
and it will pop up.
Great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just I think going to be a lot more easy to get to the date you want to get to with this than the old system that really allowed you, sort of do it one day at a time. So this is a little bit more global.
Good.
And then the grade columns, again, that would be, in this case, since this is an attendance report, you're not going to see. That's something.
Losing you again.
For the
Jill,
I don't think he's even here.
having
Jill,
to
can you hear us? You are cutting
Yeah.
out again.
cutting out again.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's happened a few times.
Check my mic here. How about now, Sharon? Is that any better?
Yes.
Yes, yep, sounds good.
Okay. Okay, so the grade columns, would typically be used for the academic and skills points, which I think they will probably use all the time. And again, they can go back up here to column visibility and, and remove, or they can click out and they can click all columns and it will switch back to showing all of the columns on the report.
Great.
So I think I covered most of it. Again, I think it's just something that if we install a new version, we'll probably want to at least show the faculty a bit of this video or give them a heads up on what it's going to look like. But none of the functionality has been taken away. It's just sort of a different look and feel. And then there's obviously some new functions as well.
Great.
All good changes.
Very.
Good. All right, so any questions? Do you want me to keep on the recording or I'll stop recording and we can just, pick it up from there?
No, you can stop the recording. I think this will be really helpful.
Okay.
Call recording.